Hey guys, a warm welcome back to the channel. Yes, it's true, your eyes do not deceive you. This is not clickbait. We are finally back on the BBI project. We're going to see this one through to the end, but before we do that, before we get involved and start getting our hands dirty, let's have a short recap on just how far we've actually come with this project so far. When I found and finally rescued this virtually abandoned Ferrari 512 BBI, I was the happiest car nerd alive on the planet. To be able to save this 80s poster car from an imminent death by rust, well, it was a dream come true. Having sat there rotting away on a driveway for many years, Ratarossa, after months of negotiation, managed to save it and buy that BBI. We have certainly been on a journey together. The amazing car was complete, minus a few stolen parts. The interior was in amazing condition, under a load of dog hair, and even the engine moved freely, but just wouldn't start. After a clean up of the car, it was transformed, but that wasn't enough. The original plan for a fast fix up and just to use the car quickly changed into a nut and bolt restoration. We began to strip the car bit by bit. Every single item was removed, painstakingly sanded or stripped back, ready for a new lease of life. We tried different methods, from ice blasting the engine block to vapor blasting the metalwork, powder coating or zinc plating, making an array of Maranello's finest 40-year-old treasure look shiny and new once again. We tried our very best to preserve all the originality as much as possible by using methods the factory would have used back in the day, such as leading the bodywork to retaining all of those hand-built imperfections. We then had an education on 80s tyre technology. But then it all stopped while I took some time out to create the world's only challenge Stradale Spider. But right now, we are back. The BBI project is resurrected and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. So let's do this. Okay guys, let's start at the bottom of the mountain here. So I have just put the stuff I have here at the house, laid it out in the garden. As you can see, we're going to go through some of this stuff. This is a fraction of it though. We have got more stuff at the shop. There's stuff at the zinc platers from last year that we're still waiting to get back. Let's have a look through it. We got in here our pedal box that needs work. Some of the stuff here came back from powder coating. That's all done nicely. There's bits still to do here with air boxes, various cooling pipes from the engine. We've got the bits that Red Bay donated to the project. We've got some brake bits over there. We got our oil tank, our fuel distributors, they've all got to be done. Go through all those. We've got some interior panels here, lots and lots of boxes of many bits here that we have got. Clips, zinc plated stuff. We got our hubs here, engine mounts, new stuff, clocks for the dash, new stuff, engine stuff here. This is all the spark plug tubes. Again, we've got one of these missing. That is at the platers, and more zinc plating. Look at this guys, nuts and bolts. We have to figure out where every single one of those goes, and we cannot miss anything, right? This has to be perfect, this car. Same with this bit here. Some stuff has been sorted out, other stuff still needs to be looked at. That's our water pump. Then we've got another bit here that is rebuild for various things, little bits and bolts. I've tried to keep it separate as I found it. And then we've got our rear screen. Look at this, very dusty from where it's been in the shop. Lucky dust blows off. But there you go guys, that is just a fraction of some of the bits. We've got loads more at the shop, we've got more in the car. We've got more at the platers, and there is various other bits in my garage, in the house. I don't even know where to start with this lot. Any ideas? Put them in the comments below. Okay, let's jump in the car, head to the shop, and get some work done. I stripped this thing apart a few months ago now, and well, we have to remember where everything went while we refurbish it. So, do this. Now a lot of the time consumed is all in the prep work. So we're at the back of the car, and as you can see, a lot of it, like I said, is time consuming prepping all of this and protecting it from either grinding it back or the paint. Now I'm going to continue doing that. Now a lot of this is actually going to get replaced. All of these lines will just refresh, but I prefer to keep them in situ at the moment because it helps me when I'm just putting it all back together to make sure they're all in the correct place. Now while we're here, there is a question I have for you guys. Hopefully you can help me out. These are our brake lines, and as you can see, we'll just give that a little wipe there. They are light grey. Now I cannot find brake lines in this colour. You can see it just down here as well. If anybody knows where I can get brake reels like this in this colour, please do let me know in the comments below, because it'll really help me out. I don't really want to have to just buy it and then just spray it myself to match the factory colour. So the BBI is heading into the booth for its first coat of paint on the framework after Donnie has finished working on this very, very cool Mark 1 Golf GTI convertible. This one is a stunner. So I'm going to start by hitting all the little areas with some degreaser. All this stuff in here, really tricky to get to, but to be fair, it all looks very solid and good, so it's a very good start. So we're going to make my life easier. We're going to jet wash the back of this one, get all the gunk off, take it straight back in, dry it immediately, and then grind whatever else is left over off the car. So I'm just going to remove all these foam pads now. Let's take a guess to see, number one, if these are available still from Ferrari, and number two, how much these cost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think 11, 12 pads. Let's see what the total cost of those would be, if we can get them. All right, the BBI is ready to head into the booth. The main man Gert is going to hit all the frame with its first layer of protection. Let's do it! Check this out, guys. The first stage of the framework is all done. So all of that bare metal is now protected. We are just out of the booth, and we've even managed to retain some of the runs and stuff like that on the car. You can just see here, I've left things like that. So we've got that factory finish still on the car. Now I've put the clam back on the front for now. It's the safest place for it. We're going to just leave it there while this all dries out. A lot of it, as you can see, was in the prep work just to make sure. One thing I cannot stand is overspray on anything, so we're just being really careful here. Now some of this, not all of it, some of this is going to get replaced anyway, but I prefer to leave it in place so I know where everything roots. We've got a massive job on our hands with this one. Now some of you will look at this and go, you've done it the wrong way around, and you're absolutely right. We should do the body first. Normally that is what happens. There is a reason for this. I've weighed it all up, and I don't think it's going to make any difference on this one, because what we're going to do is just simply protect all of this very easily. I'm just going to cover it all up when we get to do the bodywork. That is all going to be happening very shortly. Now the reason I've done it like this is because part of the bodywork we're going to have to polyester primer it. That is going to take a good 2 weeks to cure. Now I need as much time as possible on this. So once we've done the next level of this one and painted all the frame to our black finish, it will enable me to carry on with a lot more other components. So we can do our suspension on here, we can do all our brake lines, any of these pipe works, anything like that needs doing, we can do it on the car, and we can start building up this while the bodywork just dries out, and we can just finish that one. So I might be completely wrong, I might eat my words here, but hopefully we should just be able to cover all this up and continue working on that when we need to. Next stage on all the framework is the finishing coat, which is a black finish. Now the point we have here is when the BBIs were built at factory back in 1983, the framework, well, it was a bit of an afterthought. It was whatever is left over got slapped on the frame. Not only that, it was all painted, but what it looks like a blind man.
I'm here to paint the Ferrari.
Oh, are you here for BBI?
The BBI.
Right, this way, sir.
Thank you. Perfect.
Honestly, I think that is how Ferrari finished the frame on the BBI back in the day at factory. Now next we are on to the bodywork, and as you saw in the recap earlier, I spent a lot of time previously sanding back all of the paintwork back to bare metal, and at the time you guys were quite a few commented to say, why did we not try and retain the original paint? Now the reason for that was because when you looked around the whole of the bodywork, there were quite a number of small areas with paint blisters, imperfections, and that was around the whole car that needed to be addressed. So I weighed up the argument of keeping the original paint and doing some small area repairs, but there were so many it would have looked like a patchwork quilt. So the decision was made to instead of doing that, we'd just strip back the whole thing and just repaint the whole body and keep it white was the final decision. Then we used some factory methods to repair some of the rust areas. Now I was very surprised at the small amount of rust on this car, considering the history of it left outside for such a long time. The one thing that I did change though was when the car came to the UK, they added a roof aerial because the aerial in the windshield, the windscreen, was really rubbish, so you didn't have any radio reception. So Ferrari UK added the roof aerial, and I thought that looked terrible, so we've removed that. We've gone back to the original lines of the car. And so let's carry on, strip back those final little areas ready for paint. Now I'm after some advice from any paint experts out there. So the BBI is made up of different materials. So the front rear clam and the doors are all aluminium. The central body is steel. Now the plan in the next video is to start prepping that ready for paint work. And the plan was just to go over it once all again, key it all up, and then hit it straight away with polyester primer. But my question is, do we need to protect any of that metalwork before we put polyester primer on it? My research says that if I put etch primer down, the two do not work very well and it will cause lots of problems. So if there's any experts out there, please give me some advice in the comments below before I head into the next video. Alright, check it out. We are out of the spray booth and look at this. The framework is absolutely perfect. I am so happy with how this has come out. It is exactly as it was when it came from factory. It looks just as bad. It's been painted to look that way, but it looks brand new and fresh again. We've hit every single area on this one, and well, like I say, it just looks stunning. I'm so happy. We're starting to turn a corner on this build. We are starting to rebuild it now instead of just stripping it all back. So this is where we start to transform it. Feast your eyes on this, guys. Well, guys, there you go. We are fully back on the BBI, baby. It's going to be one absolutely epic car when I finish with it. Unfortunately, this part of the process, the rebuild, is so time consuming. The amount of man hours that went into those past few minutes you've just watched on video is immense. That was a whole week's worth of hard graft, stripping it all back, prepping it, getting ready for paint. But I keep telling myself it's gonna be worth it in the end. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. We got to do the same again for the bodywork, probably to another level entirely as well, even more man hours. But the way I've done it, because I've painted the frame, it doesn't allow me also to start mounting stuff onto that, so we can put all the shiny bits back on. So it's going to really start to transform now. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget, hit that like button down there, because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want me to put some more videos out on this one, I'll try and do a little bit more. But it all just depends. There's so much man hours at the moment that goes into this, and I don't want it to be boring for you. Anyway, leave some comments in the down there and let me know your thoughts on it. Until the next time, guys, check out what I get up to over on a daily basis, where I post some behind the scenes, some late night stuff that goes on in the shop with this build, and I will see you very shortly in the next one. Ciao for now.